If used to clean ears, stroke swab gently around the outer surface of the ear only.
Wink, wink.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, presented by CinemaSins.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, a weekly look at everything going on inside the world of CinemaSins. I'm Aaron Dicer, and I'm joined as always by Jonathan Watkins.
Hello, hello.
And Danae Hughes.
Hurry. Let's just fly like the wind.
We write for CinemaSins and TV Sins and do various other things inside the CinemaSins universe as well.
I should have done fly, you fools.
I was going to do it if you didn't.
How did I not think of that?
I don't know. You want a second chance? You want a second chance?
Yep.
Joined as always by Jonathan Watkins.
Hello, hello.
And Danae Hughes.
Fly, you fools.
Very nice. We write for CinemaSins and TV Sins and do various other things inside the CinemaSins universe as well, like doing the intro twice, just as an example of things.
You don't have to tell anyone we did it twice.
Oh, I included both versions, so your secret is out.
Great.
We are not in a hurry. I just want you to know we would never rush this quality content for you. Danae is just being, super sensitive to, the progression of time and wants to make sure that we are efficient. Because if you know anything about our show, Danae is always trying to keep us in check and getting to places on time.
And we're technically, even though this will be next week, we're getting an extra hour this weekend, too.
That's true. So. That's a great point. There's a
how does that work?
Unfortunately, it's not this afternoon.
No. It can be whenever you want this weekend.
I like Danae's look like, oh, we're supposed to change clocks this weekend?
Yeah. I'll figure it out eventually, I guess.
Yes, you will have a 25-hour Sunday, technically, right? Because it happens in the AM hours of Sunday.
2 a.m. Yeah. 2 a.m. on November 1st.
Yep. So, use that extra hour wisely.
After Halloween. This will be the post-Halloween blues.
Sometimes I wish I included that in the show last week, right? The Happy Halloween.
Yeah, it was great. It was just Jonathan.
I sometimes I wish people could just hear the unedited version of us trying to do the close of this show sometimes. It's just like craziness.
You could have put it in the outtakes.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess I could have. I guess that's all on me. My fault, guys. My fault.
At one point in time when we did our survey, that was one of the highest ranked portions of our show.
By the way, first episode where I've had to ask my wife if it was okay to leave something in.
Oh, what was it?
Which thing was it?
I told about her dream.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dude, I didn't say any names. I just said you had a dream I did this.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, that's fine. She thought it was funny.
Good. I'm glad we didn't cause any problems.
No, you wouldn't have caused any problems.
That is good news. Well, whether in a hurry or not, let's go ahead and get on to it. Let's kick it off with the SinSide Scoop.
What's he building in there?
I've got a secret.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
This is a true story.
We're going to take a look at the videos from the week, the process of sending them, how we felt about the show in movie in general, or music video, as the case may be. We'll kick it off in TV Sins. As per usual, we are doing the fourth Treehouse of Horror from The Simpsons. Finishing off this little run of Treehouse of Horrors for October. Maybe we'll, that could be like an annual thing. There's enough of them, right? Like if we do 4 every year.
God.
How long?
We'll never catch up.
We'd have to eventually, right? They can only produce one a year.
No,
so.
Yeah, if we do catch up, that would be a good thing, because that would mean TV Sins has been going for like 10 years or
right, exactly.
Or whatever it is, 8 years.
Somebody could do that quick math, I'm sure, and figure out like 30, how many, 31 seasons? 30.
So if you do 4 a year, there's 31 currently, I think.
So that's 3 extra.
So you got to remember to carry the 7
years. So
don't forget
8 years after next year. So yeah, between 8 and 9 years.
Yeah, yeah, we can do it. BTS will be around that long.
Yeah, guys. By the way, we do have a Patreon.
That's right. Yes, if you want us to continue, check it out. This was a Hughes Watkins script. Danae and Jonathan writing on this one. Danae, this wasn't your first Treehouse script, was it? You wrote on one with me too, I think.
You guys did the first one.
That's right. We did do the first one. That's right.
But it is confusing, and we talk about it every episode now, and it continues to be confusing. I love how you bleeped the last episode.
Wasn't that great?
Because I wondered if you were just going to cut it out, because this one has another reference where Bart's grandfather comes in and says, "Kill the boy," and then he's a vampire, and he runs out after realizing he's a vampire. So it has that carry-on joke. So
yeah, that's true. And also, I love that, just weird. We did not plan this. Bram Stoker's Dracula parody. And one of the CinemaSins videos is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Did not plan that.
Nope.
It's amazing.
I actually I liked this one. It was a little bit different of a Sin experience because I actually felt disappointed by the vampire plot line. And I know it sounds weird because it's just Simpsons or whatever. Yeah. But to reveal that the mom Marge is actually the queen vampire, I don't know, it just didn't make any sense to me based on what happened. So I like that we were able to point that out.
Yeah, I don't particularly like the Dracula one that much, and that's actually I found out that's actually a really popular one, which I did not know that. Yeah, I mean, it might be a little dated for some people, but I guess people that watched it at the time and the years around then, it's on a lot of lists. Like if you look at where people have ranked them, it's typically up there pretty high.
This episode or that segment?
No, that segment. When people rank the segments,
because I know I've seen a lot of love for the Satan Flanders segment is one that I've seen a lot of people really love.
That is my favorite of the group.
Yeah,
as a whole, this was a really fun episode to watch. Sitting it, you're trying to find those plot lines, but you've got the school bus coming apart from the Twilight Zone gremlin, and then the vampire, and then Ned Flanders is Satan. It was just like this. It was really fun.
That has the donut conveyor belt, and some of that stuff is just like lodged in the pop culture consciousness. So it's a good episode. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Also enjoyed the video quite a bit, guys. Great job. I'll kick us off with kind of going into some of the details. But since this was your guys' script, everyone else got the quotations around their silly Halloween name, but James didn't. So is his middle name Hell for real? I love that. Or do people just hate the man? Was how that one ended up. I was told recently that Sadars have constantly erect penises. Peni? Peace? Panera? Loved that observation. This Jell-O is going to be flavored with hot dog sandwich and chicken. Thank you, the Super Taster says. Quit leaving stuff in your fridge uncovered or not in containers. It infects the taste of all the other food.
It really does. And boxes of
it's gross.
Baking soda can only do so much.
Right. Yeah.
And put it in a container, people. I don't even know anyone who does that outside of TV.
Why is there do you put baking soda in the fridge? Because I don't think we do after we open it. We just put it in the cabinet.
Oh, no. It's not for the baking soda. It's for the fridge. Baking soda is a deodorizer. And so,
I gotcha.
So, yeah.
I gotcha.
So it's not like
it's supposed to absorb odor.
It's not like you're refrigerating your baking soda until you can use it again. It's like you use it to deodorize your fridge.
That's one of the ways that you can use it.
Although I will gladly go into any conversation about should this be refrigerated or not, because people have differing ideas on that stuff. It's fascinating to me sometimes some of the things that people
absolutely my she doesn't always. My wife sometimes will refrigerate a cake. I'm like, okay. Like that should just stay out, right?
Leave the cake out in the microwave. Baked goods go in the microwave for storage.
Okay. Well, I don't do that, but I leave it on the stove. It's covered.
I'm sorry. Maybe that's just us small kitchen people that don't have anywhere to put anything.
Oh yeah, you don't want to see all the cabinet space and stuff I have. You'll be mad, so I won't show you.
It's also for us. It's also if you don't.
Actually, I'm going to send you a picture right after this.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. It's also if you don't put it in the microwave and it's out and visible, it's gone in our house. So like if you want any cookies left over or any cake left over, you better hide it in the microwave. Or somewhere else. I like that as a super taster. Thank you for that. I like to point out that skeletons have no lips, so this should sound like, and then having the narrator not use lips. Although I did see a comment that said that because skeletons don't have vocal cords, it actually should just be like rattling bone sound.
It should just be like a
no lungs,
you know what?
so it can't even be breath.
You know what?
Yeah, you're right. Yep, just rattling bones.
And then having a Twilight Zone parody in your Night Gallery parody also made me laugh quite a bit. So I enjoyed that. Great script.
Who would even get Night? Like I'm sure there were a decent amount of people that probably didn't get Night Gallery then.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine. Man, it's unfortunate too because Night Gallery is really good, but it hasn't had like the like it hasn't been on Sci-Fi Channel and stuff like that, for a long time.
Yep. Jonathan, what about you?
Second only to sex. I have that. I thought that was
again going into this narrator being. I love the fact that again this narrator continues to be like raunchy, but totally doesn't understand sex. Like it's something he wants to talk about, wants to feel cool about, but it's like he doesn't get it.
Yeah, sure. The narrator. And then I just like the "Don't ask me how I know. I kind of want you to like me." That was the other one I had written down. I thought that was really funny.
That one felt a little bit real, Danae. Did that one come from you? Like, I know you've talked about like bullying stories in your past and like, because it was about bullying, right? It was like giving wedgies or, that kind of thing.
Oh,
I thought she just wanted
you
I thought she just wanted you to say that you wanted people to like you.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably it.
Yeah, that one came from, I'm like, well, I was looking up all that information, but no, it didn't come from a real place. I was just thinking about people giving wet willies, and it would be so much easier if they sat down. Maybe as a short person, if I was going to give somebody a wet willy, they need to be on my level.
So you looked this up. So is a rear admiral actually something? Because I wasn't looking that up.
Yeah, the rear admiral is I think it was a real thing. I'm gonna go try to find my notes because I thought that I actually have a link for my keeping tabs.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, cool. And then I just thought the outtakes were really fun. The Devil's Advocate and the Next Generation outtakes were my personal favorites, but they were great.
Those are really good. Danae, what about you?
You guys actually took I think all of them. The only one that did you not mention was the putting Bart in charge of Maggie. Just a simple one that
it just seemed dumb.
It just was a nice, hilarious little statement. Like, here, take Maggie. It's like, that's dumb.
Even as like blindsided as Marge, I guess, can be at times. I didn't buy that for a second, but whatever.
Yeah.
But you guys mentioned all the other ones, so.
All right, well then let's move on to Friends. Hey, we're going back to Friends. We haven't done that in a while. After I think we did a run of Friends pretty early on in the channel, and then heading back to
this is the Friends Halloween episode.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And this is a terrible, terrible episode, by the way.
It is the one with the Halloween party. It was a Dicer Hughes script. Danae and I wrote on this one with some additions from Jonathan as well as the Shadow. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of this episode either. Although increasingly when I watch Friends, I'm not necessarily a fan of Friends that much.
I still like. There's things about Friends I still like, but
me too.
I don't know their Halloween episode. I don't know if I feel like they did at least one other one. They weren't typically very good. They always did Thanksgiving really well. Like those were kind of the more popular holiday episodes for them. But I don't know. This one's bad.
I had the revelation watching this episode, and I'm going to state this to the extreme, even though it's probably not true to the extreme. If Friends didn't have Matthew Perry as Chandler, I don't think I would have even liked this show. Like, I think I love that character so much that I thought I loved the show.
Man, I love Monica. I will tell you the one that's maybe. And I like the Monica Chandler relationship. I will tell you the one character that I'm surprised because I the actress I've always had a huge crush on, but man, Rachel just blows. Like, I think she's not a very good person at all.
Yeah.
Phoebe, you like Phoebe though.
No, I like them. Yeah. And their performances are fine, but I thought I loved this show. Like I remember Friends is the best. And I think I just loved Matthew Perry as Chandler. I loved the sarcasm. I loved the way he would say things. I
loved it, and I think now I just kind of like it.
Yeah, something like that.
And also, this was around the time when guest stars were huge. Mm-hmm. Like celebrity guest stars, like Will and Grace, like every episode somebody would be on there.
Sean Penn, of all people.
The Sean Penn thing. Yeah, and he's fine. But like, it's not a very interesting character, but because it's Sean Penn, they have to dedicate time to him. And I think he's even in another episode. Like, I don't think that storyline's over.
Yeah.
But stuff like that just kind of takes away from everything else. And then you've got Joey, and even though that's not really happening, Ross is like thinking Joey's going to try to take his girlfriend from him, which doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And then Rachel being weird with kids. It's just it's a weird episode. It's not funny.
Today, any thoughts on the episode before we go into the sins themselves?
I think in the Slack channel when we were talking about this one, I was like, can we just stop with this show? And it sucks because part of me thought that I liked this show at one point in time, but maybe it's because I saw it early on or something, and I just was more, I don't know, seeing it now, it just seemed really forced and strange. So
no, there is something. It's not even it's not even that it's dated. There's something about the humor. I think just comedy has changed so much. And that was kind of the tail end of one type of show, like one type of sitcom, and then what it's become now. Even though those types of sitcoms still do exist. But I don't think they're as popular. Yeah,
so, but it wasn't terrible. It's just, no, maybe it was. It's just the jokes didn't land for me, and the setup didn't land for me. I found myself wondering things like, who are all these people at their apartment? Who are all these friends that they have? Like, we've never seen any of these people before.
Yeah, they do that. Like, they'll have like a bachelorette party or something, and they'll just be like 4 or 5 random women that you've never seen.
And that place was packed. And maybe that's just, I didn't really want to, go into it. I didn't write that into the script. Maybe I should have. I don't know. Just out of curiosity, though, Sean Penn played Eric in the one with the Halloween party, and later Phoebe's date on the one with the stain. So,
I think there was they continued it for like another episode, and they just didn't work out or something. I can't remember.
I think for me, it just seems like at this point in time, the story is strained, and it's just looking for cheap laughs and silliness rather than substance. And I don't know. So it didn't hit for me, and that's okay. They don't always have to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun to see people wearing costumes, although we did point out how it's strange that you would put it on and walk out if you didn't want to wear it in the first place. Like, is he so trained that he can't not wear it? Do we need to call somebody? Is he okay? Is he safe?
Right.
Anyway. But yeah, so it was an interesting one to write on. It was like a little bit of a bummer for real.
Jonathan, what were some of your favorite parts of the video?
I liked how you guys noticed the guy getting his shirt lifted in the background.
We both had a series of sins about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that was really weird. I actually don't like the Ursula Phoebe thing, which I thought I actually had written a sin because I shadowed on this. I wrote a sin for that, but then Aaron or I guess it was Aaron, I'm assuming. I can't imagine that was Danae. Aaron took a sin off, so I was like, oh, that's funny. So I didn't even include mine, but yeah, I've never really found that whole thing funny. And she was on Mad About You, right? Isn't that correct? The Ursula character.
Oh yeah. That's right.
She was she was a server at a restaurant they went to.
Yeah, that character
and she was
crossed
really
over into
mean.
Another show. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because they even there's a Friends episode where Helen Hunt and whoever played her girlfriend, I can't remember who that was on the show. They go to like Central Park, or they see Phoebe and they think Phoebe's Ursula.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was stupid, but I just remember that. Just never be Rachel. I loved that running joke. I thought it was hilarious that Aaron liked that terrible costume, Spudnik, because
it's the best costume at the party. Everybody else is just
that
lame.
Might be true.
Ross actually came prepared. He did something clever and fun. Come on.
I liked Monica's costume personally, but whatever.
Well, okay, we're talking about different things now, Jonathan. Let's just be clear.
And the sudden baby Lily Truscott I thought was really funny because I was like, oh my God, that is her.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't I'm not a Hannah Montana person. I mean, that was definitely past my time, but I've seen reruns and stuff when Mackenzie was watching stuff on Disney. So
yeah, it is
recognized her.
Really funny to see people who go on to do different things show up as random child actors and stuff. And so yeah, that's fun stuff. I loved a couple of things you mentioned. The never be a Rachel. I love the way the first one was worded. In fact, just never in any situation ever be a Rachel. Like, it's just like, let's just make this clear. And then in the pants one, calling his butt his funk trunk was a lot of fun.
Show off your funk trunk, Steve. I actually had that written down.
Yeah, the hey, super, girl, I'm, whatever it was, and then drawing
that girl or whatever.
Yeah, and then drawing that parallel to the Arrowverse. I think it was a good time. We find out they've known each other for 2 short weeks, and I'm pretty sure it would be very hard to forget a painful detail like this in that short amount of time. But here we are chuckling about something tragic because everything in a sitcom has to end with a forced laugh track for some reason. Great observation. Loved that. My money is on the monkey is a phrase that we should just fit into every script we can. it just made me giggle so much.
Going back to what you just said, though, that was interesting. I'm glad you guys pointed that out because that is a major plot, like concurring plot line on the show is how is it her mom that killed herself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they joke about that several times in the series or make some weird comment about it. And like, it's just interesting now when you have, especially with social media, you have so much emphasis on depression and anxiety and suicide prevention, to go back and watch like this show, like
it's
practically
really
making fun of it. It didn't age well.
Yeah, humor's interesting, right? Because, it was certainly a time where you felt like a joke was just a joke. Like, and I think evolved is probably the right thing to say, to understand for most people, sure, that's okay, but also jokes can really hurt people, and you do want to be sensitive to jokes that might, trigger and bring up things with people.
And especially once you get older and some of those things actually come into your life in some way. Yeah. You're a different person when you watch it later. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I just know in our own family, even when I went down, my kids were ready to kind of have gallows type humor about it pretty quickly. Like they're in their kids. And so like what you're talking about kind of thing.
Well, it's a defense mechanism too, right?
And it is a defense mechanism as well. It's a coping mechanism.
Yes, sorry.
But it is one of those things where, it's just... You can have morbid humor. You can have gallows humor with people you're close to and people who understand. But sensitivity is also important. So, reading the room is probably, kind of the key attribute you would need to understand how that kind of humor works usually.
Yeah, I learned on Twitter this week that Kim Kardashian does not know how to read the room. That's what I learned this week on Twitter.
Good. That's good. Well, it's good that Twitter is being educational. I'm glad it's being educational.
Good job. It's teaching me things.
And then let's hope that one of the people answering the door to a kid with a girlfriend 3 times her age reported you to the police immediately. And thanks
again, it's just funny. It's humor.
Thanks to Alex in the comments who said, "Why am I not surprised that Aaron's favorite costume is the human-sized portmanteau?" He's.
It is weird going to that, what you were talking about today. That is like cringy. But I will say Jennifer Aniston is really good though. Like she delivers the lines very well. But then when you think about them for like 2 seconds, you're just like, oh, like what was that about?
What about you today?
I liked also I'm counting only 8 planets here, and this took place before the great Pluto purge of 2006. So this is either a sin for being scientifically inaccurate or like, that whole thing. Did you see all the comments about this, Aaron?
Yeah, in fact, the day
Are we talking about it in the comment section or?
If you want to, do you want to save it for the comment section or do you want to talk about it now?
So I don't care. I don't have it for my comment. If you
I just want to say I'm glad that thing got written and got put in there because I loved we got Aaron and I had fun talking about the Harry Carey sketch on Saturday Night Live.
It's true.
That is one of my favorite sketches ever.
Well, if it's not in your comment section, let's talk about it now.
Yeah, I pointed it out in our script. I was like, I see
9
circles that I thought were planets. I assumed the gigantic one in the middle was, I thought maybe it was going to be Saturn or something, or not Saturn, Pluto. Nope, just kidding. Why can't I think of it?
Mercury?
No.
Jupiter? Because Jupiter's got rings.
We can only name so many.
Saturn has rings. Jupiter's the one that's very gaseous.
Okay, yeah.
So anyways, I thought it was Jupiter.
That's why people called me Jupiter when I was a kid.
Yes, it was your gas.
Gassy.
Yeah.
Which, once you go back and look at it, I think it's the one that's on his shoulder is Jupiter. So it was just funny to me because Aaron's like, well, that one's the sun. So
well, but in kind of. We talk about sometimes how we feel this urge to over-explain ourselves just because we know how comment sections are. And there certainly is an opportunity to go there and no, it's not the one in the middle. That's the sun. You can tell because it's on fire in lava, or whatever you want to say. But in this case, I didn't think we need to, but maybe we needed to because there were at least 5 or 6 people who were like, you miscounted. There's 9.
It's peppered through there. And then if you open up the comment chain, there's people that are correcting. That one's the sun. Oh, I see. And then I'm in there too going, same, super. I thought that it was wrong too, but blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it as I was preparing for the show. I wonder if it would have been funny to just like add arrows and then add an arrow and then then cross it off and then say that's the sun, or just something visually funny that
Yeah.
we could have done.
We could have done the Harry Carey outtake. That would have been actually funny. Now that I think about it after the fact. What's your favorite planet?
That would have been funny.
Mine's the sun.
That's
So
great.
you guys
That would've been
mentioned
a
all
great
the other ones, though. That one was really fun for me. Just to see people in the comments doing the same thing I did, I felt validated. Like, okay, I wasn't
Right, totally.
It wasn't silly that I just totally missed that.
No, not at all.
We will move on to music video sins. Ariana Grande. Positions is the name of the song, referring to, like we were just talking about, like positions of the planets and, like, you know, global positions within the galaxy. I'm sure that's what the positions is in reference to in this song.
Her position in the White House.
Yes, all those things is probably what that is in reference to. I didn't like this song at all. I didn't enjoy listening to it. I didn't think it was a good song. I didn't understand it. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. What did you guys think about this song itself?
I haven't liked the last few. I haven't liked the last few things from her. I'm trying to remember the last song I liked of hers. But it was. I mean, it was okay, but it hasn't really stuck with me. Like, I couldn't even tell you how it goes right now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's very It just seems very forgettable.
Yeah.
So forgettable that I forgot to even listen to the song. I don't know that I don't always do that for the show. Sometimes
Sure.
I actually do. I was doing every single one for a while until I was like, I don't think I really want to do this anymore. I am with Megan Ruth, who posted on the video and said, at this point, I only ever watch music videos through CinemaSins, and I'm not complaining. And Shanice Taylor responds, ain't that the truth? If they catch me on a good day, I might go check out the whole video or not. And that's me. That's me, guys. I'm with you. Sometimes I'll see one and be like, ooh, I want to kind of go watch the actual, video now.
Right.
But I sort of use this as a filter to whether or not I even care. Probably shouldn't do that, but that's what I've been doing.
No,
so
you're good.
I don't know anything about the song.
Well, you went last in the first two times, so why don't you go first this time? What did you think of the video itself? What are some of the things you liked?
Always enjoy the videos. I really think that Barrett's hitting just a consistent level with how he's animated in his narration delivery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I look forward to hearing what he's going to do. And there were several really good moments. The one that I picked for this one is, yes, I'm tired of failed relationships, so reluctantly I'll stick with you for a while. And then, like, is this her sentiment? I mean, she wrote an entire song for this person. I liked pointing out I guess I'll just have to stick around, even though I don't like you. So, but there was so many others. I figured you guys would cover the rest of the ones that I liked. So go ahead.
I forgot to write stuff down, but I will say I did. I don't know why. I'm like looking over here. It's like completely blank. I watched it last night again, but I did like all the White House. The stuff was very funny, but I will go off what Danae said. He has definitely found his own voice, and it's been really fun to see. And like that's been the most challenging thing for me now that I've started writing again for that, because I didn't write when he started for music video sins. And so that's been a challenge for me, like making sure I get stuff written in his voice and not Jeremy's voice. And that's also, I mean, I guess with TV sins, we kind of all started that together with Aaron. So that's been a little easier, but that's the one thing I'm having a harder time with music video sins.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Yeah.
And he's got a way he speaks about music that is really fascinating. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of incorporated that into the character, because he knows more about music than just about anybody I know. Probably anybody I do know.
In that vein,
I know you guys know a lot about music too, but he follows everything and different genres, and you know,
he's got a good mind for it, where he can instantly. It's sort of like you guys with your knowledge about movies and directors and even producers and things like that, where you can kind of connect these lines in the between watching one movie and then being like, oh, he did that same kind of camera angle over here, or you guys have this passion for that content. It's the same with the music. You can. He almost is always thinking about other sounds that are like what you're listening to, or lyrics that are similar, or even just how things are created. It's a passion for music in general, which is really cool. Since you didn't write a couple down, I pulled up the script really quick, because I was like, I really want this one to get referenced, and it's the one where he was just laughing about spending $1 million to make a video. Yeah.
I had that one down, yeah.
Okay. And even like there's one about the feet up on the desk, and just like, this is just rude, So
yeah.
It's just
all this stuff centered around that desk was very funny.
Yeah.
I think it's the first sin where he finishes off with syntax and grammar may never recover. That just made me giggle. I giggle a lot during these, by the way. In what Olympic sport does one jump through hoops? Is there a new style of curling with which I am unaware? No, it's good stuff. I was trying to, because anytime you ask a question like that, if you're me, you try to answer the question. And I was trying to think of an Olympic sport where you jump through hoops. The only thing I could think of was the hoops. Which is actually an Olympic sport in the gymnastics. But other than that, I couldn't think of any. So yeah, good stuff as always. Let's move on into the CinemaSins. We finally got around to sending Coraline, which people have been asking for a while. These movies are really, these kind of cult favorites are interesting to work your way into and try to, figure out, how they're going to do, if people are going to accept it. And I think the comments to Coraline have been really fun from the people who love this movie.
I didn't realize you had written on this when I was watching the video, and I was like, man, somebody is slamming Aaron in this video.
What do you mean?
The Michigan Sins. I mean, there's like 10 of them.
That would be me.
You slammed yourself.
That is a little bit of self-flagellation going on there. So yeah, absolutely. It is.
That's funny.
Well, listen, when you are a Michigander, it is one of those things that for instance, that everybody does the hand thing, or
we do make fun of each other when we're writing on something, and like the other person isn't, because and Barrett's really good at that. Like he'll if you'll see things about remotes getting thrown at TVs during hockey games, that's a slam on Chris, or he has all these inside slams on Jeremy and stuff. So I knew he had written on it, but for some reason I thought it was him and Chris because I hadn't looked at the email. So I was like, man, they just went to town on Aaron in this video for some reason.
Not me. I'm not the only person from Michigan, and a lot of these sins have to do with things in Michigan that aren't Michiganders really their responsibilities.
But you are in our group, so that's just what I immediately went to.
That is true, and I always will be, no matter how long I live outside of that state. I think because I was born and raised there for so long, I think I will always consider myself.
But you
from
probably do
Michigan.
hate Michigan State, so that was probably fair.
What's that?
You probably aren't a fan of Michigan State, though. So that was
no, I definitely wrote the sin slamming Michigan State. That was definitely me.
I also like the Michigan sin about like you would take your hand and you would point on the mitt.
Yeah,
because anytime I've ever known somebody from Michigan, that's what they do.
Yeah, of course. Hey, if your state was shaped like a hand, you'd do it too. Like, it's just easy.
I wonder if people in Italy do that.
They point to their boot.
They point to their shoe.
They're always just pointing to their boots.
The only example
around here,
as a Michigander, I can tell you the answer to this question. The only other example of this actually happening, and it doesn't happen often, but people from Montana, if they live on the west side of Montana, will point to the profile of their face, because the west side of Montana looks a little bit like a face. And so they'll say, I live here just above the nose, or, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, or like people in California point to their boomerang.
Yes, exactly, Jonathan.
If they're carrying around a boomerang.
Let's talk about the movie.
Kind of like...
Let's talk about the movie. Danae, have you seen Coraline? This seems like a movie that might have hit you, but nope, you missed this one. Okay.
No, I think I remember when it came out, I was just like, oh, another, what kind of, it's
stop
not
motion.
Nightmare Before Christmas, maybe?
Stop motion?
It's stop motion.
It's just like, but it's like stop motion clay motion.
Claymation?
Is it called is it claymation? Is it actually called claymation?
I mean, people call it claymation, but stop motion is the technical term, yeah.
Okay.
And it's Henry Selick. It's the guy who directed Nightmare Before Christmas.
And I really liked the discount Tim Burton, sin, because that kind of had that feel like, oh, I've seen this stuff before, or I've seen Nightmare Before Christmas before. It's got that kind of creepy kid story vibe to it.
Right.
I just wasn't as interested in it for whatever reason, and I never watched it, and so
I don't completely disagree with that, but I will say though, Tim Burton is an animator first. Like, that's how he started. He was an animator at Disney, and Frankenweenie was a short film he made early on in his career. So I don't know what A Nightmare Before Christmas is him and what is Selick, but Burton has made. I mean, Corpse Bride and Frankenweenie are both really interesting movies.
I totally agree.
Right.
I totally agree. I actually like both those movies.
I think Coraline blows them away, though. I love Coraline.
Oh, nice.
Like, love it.
So you're a huge fan of this movie.
Yeah, this is this would be in my conversation for like best animated film. Oddly enough, I like Leica a lot. Is it Leica?
You know what? I always, because again, just the rules of English say it should be the first vowel that's the hard sound. So I always say Leica, but it's probably Leica.
Let's go with that. But Leica, I would also say Kubo would be in that conversation as well. So they have like two of like my all-time favorite animated movies. But yeah, no, I love Coraline. I love the world building. I like that it's just like a modern fairy tale, and it's based on a really cool book by Neil Gaiman, and it's a really good adaptation of that book. I love the voice work in this movie. I think the voice work in this movie is kind of underappreciated. Like, 'cause nobody ever talks about it. Like, I forgot that was Terry Hatcher.
Right.
And she's good. But I don't know. Yeah, I just love this movie. It was also an early favorite of my daughter's, so I watched it a lot with her. So that also that's some of my sentimental about, that I have attached to it. But no, I think it's really well done. Well, I think it's I think it's up there with Nightmare Before Christmas.
I don't think I love it as much as you do, but I do enjoy it. I do think it's a really well done film, and interesting and captivating, and it doesn't resonate with me in any like deep kind of way. Understood. And so it's just kind of, it's a good movie for me. Well, let's go to the sins. Jonathan, why don't you kick us off? What are some of the things you liked in this movie?
Are kids actually worth listening to? God, I love that sin. That felt so real too.
Right?
Because they do. I mean, it's like, I don't feel like I ignore my daughter, but I mean, there are definitely times where if I'm in the middle of something, I can tell that I can kind of like, shut her out for a second, and I'll still be able to figure out what's happening after that. Danae's the only perfect parent here.
Well, this is one of those things where of course, it's important to listen to your children. Of course it is. But that has to be balanced with reality. And the reality is at least half the things kids say don't matter. They just don't matter.
Yeah,
and they matter to the children perhaps, but they don't matter in the grand scheme of things. And so all you need to do is let them say them. You don't actually have to understand them or respond to them.
You sound like such an asshole right now.
And to be fair, not everything we say as adults is important either.
Correct.
I mean, it goes both ways for sure.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
Talking to Danae, who's like on her phone, I think right now, not listening to it.
I'm peeling off fingernail polish.
Yeah, but he's not wrong. You do that. Like if we're talking about sports,
By the way, real quick though, Danae, when you tweeted the other day about like how you Iris did the want to build a snowman thing on your door, and you stopped working to go see what go play with her for a second, that brought a tear to my eye. Just FYI.
Yeah, that was really cool.
She's incredibly sweet, and she's a lot. She wants a lot of attention, but I don't know. I think it's okay to listen to your kids, Aaron.
Yeah, because that's what I said. I said, don't you dare listen to your children. That's exactly what I said. No, you know what the trick is? For me, at least, the trick is being able to quickly understand what's important and what isn't. And I get that wrong sometimes. And perhaps that's probably why every single thing they say I should be 100% zoned into and, whatever. But that's not reality. It just doesn't work that way. And she didn't almost fall into the well. She's basically lying to her mom anyway. So, she deserves to be shut out.
We already talked about the Michigan jabs, which were probably my favorite thing. Collecting snow globes, because I'm sorry, that's dumb.
Didn't we send that on? That was in Bob's Burgers, because that lady, like, in her bag, she takes out a snow globe and chucks it at the window. We're like, where did that come from?
By the way, I broke a snow globe accidentally the other day. Like, I knocked it over. There was one in our attic in a weird place, and so I knocked it over accidentally. And those are a pain in the ass to clean up, just FYI. If you ever knocked one over. And then the other thing I had was those man-eating tulips are just totes adorbs.
That one made me cringe.
Well, it's just when she goes to that other world, it's I don't know, it's cool. It's like I said, it's like a modern fairy tale. It's really interesting.
Danae, other than parent shaming me, what else would you like to point out from this video?
It's part of my contract to work with CinemaSins. I can pull it up if you want to see it. I have to troll you. It's just part of that.
It is. Indeed it is.
I like the stop. Will you stop pestering me if I do this for you? I think my college girlfriend said to me when I brought home a watermelon, a paper shredder, and a pool.
I don't know why. I wanted to pick 3 random things that seem completely unconnected. That's all.
Which is why it made me laugh so hard. I was like, that sometimes they're too on the nose. That one's just so out of left field. I really enjoyed it. Prematurely dropping the beat, but also beats got me. And then the Sweet Caroline when he just goes bum bum bum. I really enjoyed that one.
Nice.
The poop corn and cloacorn or the cloaca. That one was really funny to me. The condimentarito was also fun to me. I was really hungry when I watched this, by the way.
Yeah, seems like it.
The Artex from The Neverending Story. Thought that being harsh for young audiences, but then this was scaring the hell out of me. I was really noticing how much of this was kind of frightening. Then the blue hair, that the person that looked like they had been dipped into a bad batch of Easter egg dye and had the blue skin. There were some interesting comments in that.
Yeah, I saw
there
those.
There was one from Celeste who said, essentially, fun fact, Mr. Bobinski was part of the Chernobyl cleanup crew, and that's why his skin was blue, and that's why he has a medal on his shirt. So I thought that was kind of cool.
It is interesting. The movie doesn't say that.
Right.
But I know there's
in the book. Did you say it was a book?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it was. Sorry, I blanked out. It's a Neil Gaiman novel.
Correct.
Guy who wrote American Gods and Sandman.
Right.
That's cool. That's really cool. So, those are the ones that stood out to me for this one. It was fun to watch and be like, man, this genuinely looks pretty creepy, and to get to that creepy part. But then again, I'm watching the movie for the first time too. I do have a lot of questions, but I'll ask you about those later, Jonathan.
No, it's fine. It is creepy, but it's also very much a kid's movie. Like I mean, I didn't really agree with which I know we're joking around, but I didn't really agree with the 5-year-old psychopath sin, but because it definitely is a kid's movie that I think adults can also enjoy.
Yeah. Well, in understanding your children and what...
It's important to understand your children and listen to them when they talk to you so that you can learn about them.
Yes.
And then you'll know what kind of movie.
If they're talking to you specifically about being frightened or triggered, yes, that might be one to zone into. But if they're just yammering on about the color red, maybe you can tune out for a second. That's all I'm saying.
Obviously, it will scare some kids, yes, just like anything will. I mean, I was, like I said, Paddington scared my daughter last week.
Sure.
So, I mean, you never know.
Oh, my God.
You never know.
Okay, just super quick side note about that. I was looking up outtakes for an upcoming movie that we're going to be sending, and I was trying to find someone saying something about a bear, and so I was just searching YouTube for like movie quotes or movie moments that had like a funny reference to a bear, and I came across that particular part where he sticks the toothbrushes in his ear, and that was so fucking disgusting. That was so gross.
It is really disgusting.
So nasty. And I'm like shaking my head like, I know it's going to happen because we just talked about it. And I'm like, no. Oh, God. It's so gross. Anyway.
That whole sequence, that whole scene just freaked my daughter out probably because she thought it was gross and it was weird. And yeah.
The disturbing thing to me was just putting it in the ear in the first place. Like pulling out the earwax. Like I've been there, but putting a toothbrush that far into your ear.
I get nervous though. Like I do Q-tips and stuff, especially because, in our field, we do earbuds and stuff. So I do clean my ears, but I don't enjoy it. Like my wife really likes it. Like she likes how it feels. And I'm like, oh, God, no. I have that weird urban legend fear that I'm going to pop my eardrum or something.
Well, that's not necessarily an urban legend.
I know it's not urban legend, but I think it's probably harder to do than it.
On the packaging, it says, do not put in your ears. It literally says that on the Q-tip box.
Yeah. Yes.
You're
just supposed to kind of do the outside? Or?
Yep, apparently.
It should be in the craft section. Yeah.
So Q-tips are not for... they're not for hygiene?
They're not technically for inside your ear. They're to clean the outer side of your ear.
So you do a peer.
But it is the biggest wink ever in the history of marketing. Like it is the biggest. Yeah, don't stick it in your ear, guys. Of course people are going to.
So you're just supposed to put liquid in your ear, like medicine or a cleaner. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have like this.
My dad
vial of
uses
something
my
'cause
dad
it-
uses a pen, so you know.
Yeah,
to
my
each their
grandfather
own.
used to use a key.
No, that's
and
what it
then
was,
He also
keys.
used to use a pin,
Yeah.
Oh
he
my
would-
God.
and toothpicks.
Yeah.
So here's the exact warning on the Q-tip box. Warning: do not insert swab into ear canal. Entering the ear canal could cause injury. If used to clean ears, stroke swab gently around the outer surface of the ear only.
Wink, wink. All right.
So when my daughter says I just destroyed my eardrum with this Q-tip, I should listen to her.
yeah, if you still can, if you can
No.
still listen to her, yes, you should. I also wanted to mention exploring a strange and possibly dangerous hole. This has never worked out well for me. I thought it was really good. The prematurely dropping the beat thing was interesting to hear
So
in
funny.
regards to our discussion last week about the Trolls World Tour beat drop. I thought that was funny to have that back-to-back
Sexual
weeks.
gratification.
Yeah, exactly. You think winning a game is a good thing? The Detroit Lions. Which is really funny because since this was written, the week this dropped, they won in one of the weirdest ways possible. And so, Danae, this is the time where maybe you can zone out. You know, you pick and choose.
I
what
I'm
you
on
didn't
Twitter.
pay
She's already-
attention to football.
She's
last
already on
I'm
week.
Twitter.
literally already on Twitter. I'm checking the meaningless poll that I just posted.
No, but Jonathan, did you see this? They lost.
No.
They won by making the other team score a touchdown when they didn't want to. They basically let them in, and he tried to stop before the end zone because if the other team had kicked a field goal, they would have won. And they wanted time to score their own touchdown, and so they basically like pushed him into the end zone.
Oh yeah, that's a defensive strategy. Yeah.
Right. And so then they came down and won at the last second. So anyways, it was just funny to hear that
They didn't let the other team take more time off the clock.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then
No, I think that's smart.
and then Stockholm syndrome, but spelled STALK, was a brilliant piece of barretting on that one. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. All right, let's move on to Bram Stoker's Dracula. Or is it Bram? Is it Bram? I'm sorry.
I think it's Bram, isn't it? I don't
It
know. I
is.
get
I'm
confused.
sure it is.
Bram?
Bram.
I don't know, but it's Graham. So
Let's talk about Bram Stoker's
I'm actually
Dracula.
I'm curious now. It's got to be Bram. Well,
No,
Bram
I think
is
it's Bram.
I've always said Bram,
Brahm.
but then
Well,
at the same
here's-
time, we have a Brahms that I eat at regularly, and I call it Brams just to be silly. So really, maybe it's just interchangeable.
Well, and let me
Hold
just
on.
get really embarrassing here just for a second. Up until this week, preparing for this show, I thought his name was Bram Stoker, not Stoker. So I've always said Bram
It's Bram.
Stoker's Dracula. So
Wow.
my apologies to
Adding
Mr. Stoker.
an extra R.
I did not mean to
It is Bram.
imply that you. It's Bram. It's pronounced Bram.
Yep, it's Bram.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank
Yes,
you. I
'cause
feel
it's
better
spelled
now.
like it's spelled like Graham.
But it is certainly not Stroker. So
No, it's Stoker.
just so we're
It is
clear
actually
on that.
Stoker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't even know her.
Yeah, Bram Stoker, which is one of the greatest novels ever written, arguably.
I've never seen this movie
I
nor
haven't
read
either.
the novel.
Me either.
But after watching this video, I'm like, how many drugs were these people on? Because visually, it's just like this is it's like got so much going on
It's extra.
with it. It's so much.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I'll
a
tell
lot.
I can tell you my experience with this movie really quickly if you want me to,
Yeah.
since you
Yeah,
guys
please.
haven't seen it. So I was really excited about this movie. This movie came out in 1992. It was November of 92. And
I remember the day like it was yesterday.
I turned 16 that year, so I had a driver's license. But so I just remember that year really well. And that was when I was really, really starting to really become more of a film buff. Like I was reading a lot of reviews. I was watching like Siskel and Ebert and all that fun stuff. So, and I was reading a lot of magazines. And one of the magazines I read at that time was Fangoria. And Fangoria was a horror magazine, so it covered this movie. So I'd read a ton about this movie. Plus, it was Francis Ford Coppola. And this guy at the time was still considered, one of the best. I guess he still is, but at that time, we're only 20 years removed from like The Godfather and all his 70s output, which was really famous. And so it felt like this legit dude was directing this huge horror movie. So it was really exciting as a horror fan.
Sure.
And then I saw it and I was like, I don't know. I didn't really know what I thought of it, actually. I was kind of bored and there were things about it I liked, but even then I knew Keanu Reeves was given a bad performance, and among other things, I remember thinking Gary Oldman was cool. I've watched it a few times over the years, and I actually recently rewatched it back in like I think September. And I think I just kind of I not only do I think I don't like this movie, I think I kind of hate it. It's just it's
That's exciting.
It's really melodramatic. It's really over the top. Terrible accents. And I'm so glad they brought up Anthony Hopkins because nobody ever talks about that. He is awful in this movie. I mean,
think you
just
mean Sir
awful.
Anthony
Sir
Hopkins.
Anthony
right.
Hopkins.
It's
And he's an
Deirdre Sir.
amazing actor. This movie is huge with horror fans, though. And I will say, I'm sad they don't make movies like this anymore. Like they don't give horror movies these kind of budgets anymore. You don't get these big lavish productions like you did, especially like in the 70s, like The Exorcist and The Omen
Maybe
and stuff
this
like
is
that.
why they don't.
Well, this one did well, but after this, they tried to keep the train going, and Kenneth Branagh made Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. That was a bomb, and then or didn't do that well. And then they tried to do one with Jack Nicholson called Wolf that didn't do very well, I
man.
don't think.
Wolf. I remember that.
And then I feel like kind of after that, I mean, every now and then you'll get something, but it's pretty rare, and it's usually not very good. It's like The Haunting from '99 or something.
Yeah.
Because even like the Conjuring movies, those are only like $20 million. Those don't really cost that much.
Yeah.
They look good, but they don't cost that much. You just don't get, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I really, really dislike this movie. I do agree. I think Chris wrote something about it, which we can read. I do agree with him that it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it works.
Yeah, this was an Atkinson share script, so Chris and Barrett wrote on this one, and I do think we have some thoughts from Chris that we can get into before we get into the sins themselves.
Bram Stoker's Dracula is Francis Ford
Bram.
Is Francis Ford Acapella's attempt at something
Or
new
it
for
could be
him.
Coppola, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think he's ever done horror before. He adapts Bram Stoker's novel in his super lavish, totally bonkers way. Keanu Reeves is possibly miscast as Jonathan Harker,
Possibly.
but considering the insanity going on, maybe he's not. All I can say is Keanu in period pieces where he has to affect an accent is usually not a great thing for your movie. Gary Oldman, of course, is Dracula. At least for those who can see beyond Bela Lugosi's. I don't know if I said that name right. I don't know.
Yeah,
Bela
Bela Lugosi's
Lugosi,
correct.
you got it.
Lugosi's iconic performance. But in this, Oldman is unleashed. And unleashed Oldman is almost always interesting to watch. I think the movie starts out fine. There's a lot of mystery to Dracula, and he's haunting Jonathan Harker before he even gets to Transylvania. I think it goes a little off the rails, though, when Dracula makes his trip to London, inspired by seeing Harker's fiancée, Mina Murray, who looks like his old flame, Elisabetta.
Yep.
It's because it's the same actress. Duh. The mystery and coolness of it all gets abandoned. Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing continues some bonker stuff, but they turn him into a Captain Ahab kind of character, like he's been searching for Dracula his whole life, and it's weird. His motivation fades in and out of the picture. The weird thing for me, and I don't remember this being an aspect of the novel, is Dracula changing into various forms, including a werewolf. That was so confusing for me too, but we'll get to that in a second.
I mean, in lore, I mean, vampires can turn into wolves, but they made it more like a straight up werewolf in this movie. It should have just been like
that's
like a
interesting.
wolf.
I guess I don't know vampire lore.
I mean, I don't know that I'm really an expert. I just know that's something that Bram Stoker wrote. But
Yeah.
Bram. Thanks, Bram.
I think you mean Stoker, but you know.
they've used the wolf in other vampire movies. Fright Night, there's a scene where one of the vampires turns into a wolf, but I don't think it's as common. So I understand the confusion. Plus, he does look straight up. He's a werewolf, anyways. He's not like just a wolf. Like he's not just like a bat, or something.
Right.
Chris continues by saying he changes into a pile of rats at some point. There's a whole sequence where he chases after Mina's friend Lucy for no discernible reason, and it's a subplot with a dead end. The movie is so interesting, though, I'd recommend it. Sinning it was not hard. Baird and I combined over 200 sins, and there's probably enough for a whole extra video at some point.
Yeah.
But that's a fair point, because even though I borderline hate it, I still kind of recommend it. Like, I still think it's something, like, especially like anyone that's trying to like watch like the history of horror films, or just Coppola's filmography, whatever it is. It might be Coppola. I can't freaking remember. But anyways,
I believe it's Stoker.
Yeah, Stoker. But no, I mean, I kind of do recommend it. It is weird. And Oldman is awesome in it. I mean, he's so just insane in the role. Like he's so, I don't know. He's really good, but yeah, it's a weird movie.
Well, it's always fun to get to watch Gary chew some scenery. So Chris isn't wrong about that. I'll go into the Sins video and just say I liked Shining Like a Beacon Through the Clouds was the full head of Winona Ryder. That kicked off the video in a really fun way for me. And I was just like, okay, this is what we're in for this video. And it is going to be so much fun. This kind of sex would be uncomfortable, but mainly because the lady on the left is swallowing the man's legs with her thighs. Made me laugh. No, Lucy, it's Mina's fiance that is the wild stallion. What a great pull on that one for the Bill and Ted reference. Very nicely done. That's like eating a filet mignon that's covered in antifreeze. Made me laugh quite a bit. I think that was about the blood with the shaving cream in it.
Yes, that was one of my favorites.
Don't mind us. We totally came in fused together like this. I sometimes carry my buddies with my vagina, which I thought was really fun.
So this is what you were asking the question about. I forgot about that part. Okay.
Well, yeah, Danae pops up in the Slack today, and she's just like totally.
Well, so here's my questions. Who are all these people? Why did Dracula go for the friend? Who is this guy in the cage? Who is Keanu, and why does his hair keep changing colors? Why is there a sex pit? Why are their vaginas stuck together? Why are there babies? Why is he buried in dirt up to his head? Is Winona a vampire?
He's buried up to dirt. No, she's not. Well, although she does get bit, but there's the whole thing about if you stop the master, you can, take away the
servants or whatever.
Curse.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
He's buried in his dirt because they have this whole thing where, and I think this was in the novel, but it's been a long time since I've read it, where if he's not at home, he can only sleep in like his own soil. Like it's got to be like soil from where he lives, from the castle. So that's why he's in the earth.
Yeah, I think I'm suffering.
Most people do that. They put the soil in the coffin and they sleep in the coffin on top of the soil, but whatever.
Okay.
Well, that leads me to the next one I liked. Speaking of coffins, was it's my Drac in a box, which I thought was really funny. Oh no, the dreaded Street Atlas for sixpence rejection. That stings for weeks.
I love that one. I had that one written down too.
Oh, this video. Once I get a peacock handler, I can do it in every scene transition. And then the one that ended, hope you're ovulating, kisses.
Kisses. I had that one written down too.
This was so much fun. Danae, what else did you have?
One of like the little one-offs that I had was, I lost count, but I'm pretty sure the sun has set at least 36 times today.
Yeah.
Because it just kept showing the sun over and over again. But there were so many I'll call them like performance sins that I was really enjoying, just how like Jeremy delivered, the kind of like I don't know if they're longer, but they're just sort of more like fun and silly.
Singing or accents or, that kind of fun stuff.
Like,
yeah.
Here in Transylvania, what we do is recover the body from the river and then immediately plop that sucker down in front of a church altar without even cleaning it up or drying it off. And then it keeps going like, that's enough for my grandpappy, then it's good enough for me, that kind of a thing. And then similar to that was, his shadow did different things than his actual body, and he seemed to get super excited about it. And then like what's weird is there's no guest room. Basically, the one where he was saying like it's all these other things are so strange, but the fact that there's not a mirror is the strangest thing.
Yeah, I was gonna tip him off.
Again, that kind of more performance delivery. Step right up, folks. This Dracula can not only turn into a wolf and do some wicked shadow puppets, but he can also turn tears into diamonds. And that whole sequence.
Back off, kid!
Really
You bother
fun.
me. That was my favorite part of that scene.
And then Mabel, get my gun. And then at the very end, I'm gonna go bring home some Taco Bell. So just a lot of fun in the script.
Jonathan, what about you?
Really hilarious.
Why is Jonathan's shirt suddenly buttoned up? Because I guess I like hearing my name. And Vlad the Inhaler. Tom waits for an answer from his master. I thought was brilliant. And I love the Ghostbusters outtake.
That Ghostbusters outtake was so good. You know what I love about the outtakes in this one, including the Ghostbusters, is just how clever they are. The idea, like it's one thing, I will just often do outtakes where it's the same actor doing something different, that kind of thing. But it's the next level when it's like related, and it's because Ghostbusters is a ghost doing that, and this is a vampire doing it's. I thought the outtakes in this were particularly clever. I really liked them.
I agree. And that Ghostbusters thing makes me think there's this podcast I listen to called The Franchise sometimes, and one of the hosts on there, he calls in a movie that's great except for like one scene, he calls that scene a ghost blowjob. Because he's referencing the Ghostbusters scene, because that is like the one scene in Ghostbusters where you're just like, what is this?
And it's so dumb. It's so dumb and out of place.
But I mean, I just always think back, though, when I see that as an adult and I realize what's going on, because in '84, when I saw it in the theater, I had no idea. But my mom did. And I've always wondered, like, what was going through my mom's head sitting there with her, like, 8-year-old son.
Yeah.
And this ghost is giving Dan Aykroyd a blowjob.
And his eyes are crossing ridiculously. Yeah. Because that's the reaction. Okay, so let's...
Oh, that's not your face?
Listen, we're not explaining my face in any way, shape, or form about anything. My face is my face. Let's move into keeping tabs.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another.
Oh, jeez.
This is the most public yet of my many humiliations.
We're each going to talk about something from putting together the content for the week. Maybe a deleted sin, maybe some research we did, whatever you want to talk about. And Jonathan's going to kick us off.
I am not, because I don't have anything. I only worked on The Simpsons, and I didn't really. There was just nothing I had to look up, and then there wasn't anything else really that was interesting this week that I did.
If it had been me, I would have done some real, donut shoving in my mouth research. Just really trying to.
I did eat a lot of donuts.
See how many donuts I could eat.
That was this week, but I did purchase donuts at the grocery the last couple times, so maybe it was that episode that got me in a donut mood. Just like I got Crunch. Oh yeah, I will say I did Crunch and Munch research.
Nice.
After we talked about Fiddle Faddle and Crunch and Munch last week, I picked some up for my my horror movie marathon last weekend, which was a lot of fun.
It's great, right?
Yeah, and it was perfect. It's
so
just
good.
Great snack.
I love Crunch and Munch.
And I didn't break my teeth, so
good job, Danae.
So the dreaded Rear Admiral was an interesting search. The short answer for The Simpsons is that it's when someone makes an underhanded karate chop motion between an opponent's butt cheeks.
Okay.
And then there are other entries into what the dreaded Rear Admiral is. I don't like any of them. But in that search, I did find on urbandictionary.com, there is a reference to an interview with the Simpsons creators regarding the Rear Admiral. So apparently there were questions about it.
Of course.
And they respond by saying, I think the answer is probably as disappointing as you feared it might be. It doesn't exist. Here's the actual first draft script excerpt from that Halloween episode. So originally, Bart was going to say, Milhouse, wake up, look out the window. And Milhouse was going to say, no way, Bart. If I lean over and put my face against the window, you're going to smash it or maybe pinch my butt real hard. That was what it was originally going to be. They go on to say this was the first draft. And in rewriting it, the writers wanted to go for something a little funnier, something that would sound like it was from a family of like Flying Wedgie, Purple Nurple, someone I do not remember who said a Rear Admiral. It sounds real. It has the word rear in it, but it was manufactured to sound real. And as far as we know, it does not really exist.
Yeah. That's what I was, when you mentioned what it was, I was going to say, yeah, but did somebody invent it after the fact? And,
I bet.
And so that's probably the most likely explanation.
It was probably the day after that episode aired. There were
right. And all the kids go to school pretending like they know.
Together.
Yeah.
Hey,
like,
we got to figure out something for this, guys. Guys,
right.
we've been given a gift here.
They had a meeting in a treehouse.
Usually we do the thing and then we name it. Now we have a name. We got to do the thing.
We've been given a gift here, guys. This is a gift from the heavens. We just have to enact it.
Wasn't a gift from the heavens part of the Ariana Grande
I think
video?
It was. I think it was. Something that has never been said in the Oval Office or whatever it was. Yeah. The slutty Leatherface costume, I did actually research that. It does actually exist.
I believe it. I
don't know how long we want to take to go into our slutty Halloween costumes, a good idea, a portion of the show, but there's just such a sexism to it. That's all we need to say.
That's true, but like No, I agree. I don't see the point of them, but I also, you can't, like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, a woman can't dress up however she
dress
wants.
Dress however you want. It's just one of those things where it's like, but the expectation.
Why did that become a brand?
Right, that the female can't wear a costume unless it's a slutty version of that costume. It's just not. It's there's a lot of sexism to it. The other thing I wanted to mention. The other thing I wanted to mention was the "They Might Be Giants" sin from Coraline. That one "They Might Be Giants" song just feels so out of place in this movie and strange. And originally, it was going to be a full musical with "They Might Be Giants" writing the music, and then once they started getting into it. It became clear that the tones were just too mismatched.
Yeah, I love "They Might Be Giants," but I'm glad they didn't do that.
I think they made the right decision. I really do. And of course, I wrote the sin a little bit differently because we have to sin something. But no, I think they made the right decision.
But now I want an animated musical with "They Might Be Giants" songs.
Right? I think that could be really interesting, really fun.
They do great kids albums, by the way. I used to play those for Mackenzie when she was younger.
Well, half the shows on kids' TV they do the theme song for, like
That's true.
So yeah, I would love to see some more TMBG in the movies, but I did want to mention that was actually the original intent, and they did split for creative differences. But you know what? Sometimes creative differences are actually real. Like that's a real. Yeah. It doesn't mean they hated each other. It just means that it wasn't going to work, and that happens sometimes.
No, and they probably still got paid. So
yeah.
No, the word difference means hate.
Well, sometimes it feels that way, doesn't it? So anyhow,
the word difference means hate, and Kim Kardashian can't read a room. Those are the two things I've learned this week.
Good. Education is your friend. Very nice. That's why we do Keeping Tabs. It's all about the education. Let's move on to the comment section.
I want to know what you're thinking.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
We're each going to talk about a single comment from this week's videos because we snuck all the other ones into our conversation on the videos themselves.
I don't sneak. I'm bold
about it. And I'm
going
first, so mine doesn't get stolen.
Go for it.
I only have one. I did. No, I couldn't pass this one up. Bram Stoker's. Damn it. Bram. I'm never going to say Bram.
But again, it's Stoker, just so you're...
Stoker, the Dracula stroking movie. Well,
yes.
And like I said, another thing about that movie, it's not a great adaptation. Like they take a lot of liberties, which is fine. I don't give a shit. But I think it's funny that they put the author's name on a movie that it it's not really like, it's not a great adaptation of the book. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. But anyways, Hidden Gnome wrote, sentence while sins were at 69, I am anxiously expecting you.
Thanks for paying attention. We appreciate our fans. Glad you're paying attention to stuff like that. Mine was also from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Patrick
Dracula
Cope says, "Is Dracula crying wine?" And then Patrick says, "No, he's whining." Which, listen, if you want my attention, you got it. Welcome to the team.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Mine,
so good.
Actually, I forgot. I really wanted to give a shout out to all the people who knew that in Friends, the outtake of the noise that we put over Joey when his tongue was all crazy was indeed a Murloc from World of Warcraft. So shout out to all of those people. There was basically those comments are just like, "Oh my God, who's the fan?" So hi, it's me.
Hey.
But the actual comment that I wanted to focus on is from Nora. This comes from Coraline. Fun fact: the cake that the other mother gives Coraline when she first arrives in the other world says, "Welcome home." The O in welcome has one singular loop in it, meaning the word that is said is true. But the O in home has two loops in it, meaning it's a lie. So putting this together, it basically means that Coraline is welcome, but she's not welcome home, or she's not home. And people are kind of commenting on this. It's like, well, what is this even based on? And someone said, the Sophist Project said, apparently there's an observation in pathology that even pathological liars, that every pathological liar that has been studied gives their O's two loops. People are like, what? And then another person says, it said that liars use two loops in their O's, and it shows how fake they are because they try to be more than what they are. It's just kind of like the study of handwriting. So that was just an interesting observation from that one.
I also think that was two comments. Just want to throw that out there.
Does that mean she's a liar? Does that is that because she's trying to do more, trying to seem like
She's not
more?
welcoming me home.
Yeah, it's like her double O. All right, let's move into Beyond the Sins.
To infinity and beyond.
Somewhere beyond my wild history.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
We're each going to chat about something else from the world of pop culture that we want to make sure people know about. Who wants to go first? Anybody volunteer?
I will.
All right, Danae, what do you got?
I started watching a show that I think might be terrible, but I will watch it to its conclusion. It's a reality TV show on Netflix called Next in Fashion. And I used to watch Project Runway all the time. So I was interested. I was like, okay, well, let's try this one. Let's see, what this is about. So it's a competition series hosted by Tan France and Alexa Chung. Follows these designers from around the world as they compete for a chance at $250,000. So it's a really big prize. And to debut a collection of luxury fashion retailer on a retailer site. So I actually thought, until I researched it a little bit more before the show, that this might have been like an old show picked up by Netflix. But no, this is like fresh off the press from like May 19 when they started announcing everything. And it's like a 2020 show. So it feels really dated to me already. But maybe that's because I've been exposed to like an expectation of what a reality fashion show should be because I watched Project Runway. So I think maybe there's part of my brain that's got unrealistic expectations, or even like I think that a show needs to be a specific way now. So this is where I don't know if it's terrible or not. The hosts of the show, I think I don't like what they wear, and they're supposed to be like fashion experts. So I don't know who they are, and I'm probably like being incredibly naive in Alexa and Tan. Every time I look at them, I always think about the other people who host other fashion shows and how they dress. And I'm comparing the two. Like, what are you wearing? Says the girl from the Midwest who likes to wear jeans and t-shirts, right? It's kind of like how I feel when I'm watching a cooking competition show, or I'm watching like the Great British Bake Show, and I'm like, yeah, how could you not know when that bread is done? And I'm over here eating like a Pop-Tart. So I have no reason to judge these except for that I do love watching competitions.
Yeah.
But there is something interesting about how it's put together, and I think that's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit. They are in teams from the very beginning. I don't know if that changes. I haven't watched more than the first, I think, 4 episodes. I think I'm starting the 5th right now. But there's already been somebody who's had their face sliced open due to like something that fell off of a high height and smacked them in the face. So that we've had a guest judge who literally walked off the set because they were so pissed at how they were deciding who was going to be leaving that day. So it's interesting. I like seeing the designers, the competition part, watching these two people like work together and figure out how they're going to create stuff. Many of them actually know each other from like the same town or growing up in the same industry. So they really respect each other. So the interpersonal drama is way dialed down comparatively to Project Runway and stuff. And I love that. Seeing the actual part of creation is exciting for me. Yeah. But I still can't tell if it's just, I don't know. I can't tell if I like it or not. I'll watch it all just because I'm that person. But anyways, it's called Next in Fashion, and it is on Netflix.
Cool.
What do you got, Jonathan?
I watched a movie actually last night. This is a 2020 movie. I think it came out a couple weeks ago, so it's available to rent, or if you want to just buy it, I think you can buy it. You can buy the digital. But it's this movie called The Wolf of Snow Hollow. It is written, directed, and it stars this guy Jim Cummings, who I was not familiar with. He made a movie in 2018 called Thunder Road. I don't know. Did you see that by any chance, Aaron?
I am only familiar with this because we are having a guest on Sif Pop Podcast coming up shortly. Our friend Josh Childs, by the way. People may know who that is. And it was a movie he requested to review. And so I did a little bit of research into Jim Cummings.
Have you seen it yet?
I haven't watched it yet. It's not for this week's episode. It's for next week's episode. So,
The Wolf of Snow Hollow, though, is the one you're talking about. I'm really excited about this for you because, okay, so I have not seen Thunder Road. That also makes sense because I tweeted out about this movie last night, and Josh well, not Josh, but his the other Twitter account he does, the YouTube channel, Nether Region, they liked it. So I was like, oh, maybe Josh has something to do with this guy. Actually, Jim Cummings liked my tweet too, because I'll tell you, I was blown away by this movie. This movie was awesome. It just completely caught me off guard. I was assuming, based on what I had read about it and seen, it was a werewolf movie. That was kind of all I knew about it. Mm-hmm. And it still is that, but it's also really smart. It's really funny. And it's funny. It's like, it's not really a comedy, but it's kind of funny in the way like Fargo is funny.
Right.
It's more character-based humor, and especially Jim Cummings. Like, he gives a really good performance in this movie. I'm really excited to see whatever he does moving forward. Riki Lindholm is in this movie. She's
Riki Lindholm,
probably best known. Garfunkel and Oates, another period. Robert Forster, it's his last movie before he passed away. But he's actually quite good in it. Like I said, I think, and then there's a lot of some of the other people in it. I don't know their names, but like I recognize them from some other things along the lines of Garfunkel and Oates and stuff like that. But it's about this cop played by Jim Cummings in this town, and these murders start happening, and they're they're looking for there's a serial killer in their small town, and this is a place where murders don't happen, so the force is not really equipped to handle this, and so he's having to kind of deal with this case. On top of that, he's got a daughter about to go to college, and his ex-wife giving him shit, and Robert Forster is his dad and is the current sheriff, and he's got some issues going on that are affecting him. So it's basically about this guy's struggle just to kind of keep his shit together and try to catch this murderer. And it's really sharp. It's really smart. It's funny. Like, it's really witty, you know?
Cool. I love that kind of stuff.
I really, really enjoyed it. I think you'll like it. Yeah. It's not, it has horror listed in the IMDb title, and I don't know. I mean, I guess there are horror elements to it. But I kind of don't want to give like stuff away. So, but it's a high recommend. And I tweeted out last night that I thought it was awesome. So, I highly recommend it. I'm going to go check out his earlier film too, for sure. And I'm really excited to see what he does moving forward. So is Josh friends with him, or do you know?
I don't know. I just know he requested the movie and specifically mentioned,
That's so
cool. Jim Cummings, which immediately I was like, the guy that does Winnie the Pooh? And he was like, no.
Different that's Jim, why that name sounded familiar.
Different Jim Cummings. Because I had a whole different picture of what this movie might be.
It's not like I was telling Chris about it earlier. Like, Coen Brothers is the only way. That's how I would like. I was trying to describe the humor to him, but it's really not Coen Brothers. But
Noah Hawley has that a little bit too.
Maybe Noah Hawley's a better way to put it.
Ironically enough, since he's doing the TV show Fargo, like all the Fargo people have the kind of.
I've read a couple of his novels too, though. That's very much like his sense of humor, that kind of comedy. So it's kind of in that vein for me. But I could be thinking that, like I said, because they're like in a snowy town. I don't know. But high recommend. Really, really, really enjoyed it. So definitely check that out. Like I said, you can rent it. Buy it, whatever. It's The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I don't know if it's eventually going to be on a streaming service, like Netflix or something, but currently it's just available to rent.
I'm going to talk about a docuseries on HBO called The Vow. This follows a cult and specifically follows two people that were in the cult and are trying to find their way out of the cult and kind of save other people from this cult once they find out some things that are going on there. And it is true story, docuseries, and the amount of footage they have from their experience is vast because he is a filmmaker. And in fact, he was hired, I shouldn't say hired by the cult, he got into the cult through the business side of things. It's very kind of self-help kind of stuff, and they knew he was a filmmaker and had made a documentary that got some attention, and they were like, hey, why don't you be our filmmaker? in our business, organization or whatever. And so he is filming everything. He records everything, all of these conversations. And so unlike a lot of documentaries where there's a lot of reenactments or interviews where you're sitting with the people and they're explaining what happened, there's a little bit of that here, but mostly you're actually hearing the conversations or seeing these things from when they happened. And that's the first thing I really enjoyed about this. I should say it is 9 episodes long. I should also say it's probably extremely triggering for some people, especially because it gets into a sexual aspect of some of the nefarious things that are going on here, a controlling aspect of people's sexual lives, different things like that, and controlling like their eating, and it's very much textbook narcissist cult leader kind of stuff, but it's also under this really interesting self-help business that is doing actual good for people. That's one of the things that's really interesting about this to me too, and my wife and I were talking about this, is the things that they're talking about in these meetings about how to have a positive outlook on things, how to rise above difficulty.
Listen to your kids.
Yeah, listening to, not listening to your kids, those kind of things. No, how to rise above those kind of things is actually good advice. It's actually really smart stuff, and they're doing good psychological work. It's therapy work. They're doing a lot of really good therapy work with people. It's just behind the scenes, they're organized, like a cult with a cult figure as the head who, and I don't want to give necessarily a lot of the details away in case you want to watch this and kind of experience the education of the, what's going on here. I am, you probably know this, I am very much intrigued by the human mind and the ability for us as humans, even intelligent humans, to convince ourselves of anything. You know what I mean? Like the ability we have to rationalize, the ability we have to believe things that we would have never believed before, just, the ability we have to control people or be controlled is very fascinating to me. And to watch them break out of that mindset and to see the actual moments and to hear the actual conversations is an insight into that I'd never seen before. So I think that's why I come away from this with a huge recommend for me. And if you're like me, having said that, I know very specifically Barrett talked about this on the last Sincast and said it was too slow for him. Like it was very slow. And I think that's true. It just wasn't too slow for me because I was so engaged in it. But I think if there's any level of disconnect from any part of it, that it can seem very contemplative, and it's very purposefully, that's the tone of it, very purposely.
And I responded on that thread too and said I hated it, and then I realized I thought you were talking about something else. So I have actually not seen this.
Oh, okay.
It was just,
fair enough.
It was another generic, because it was just the generic title, and I had been talking to Barrett about it was just something else. I don't even remember the title of that now, that I really didn't like, and I just thought that's what you were talking about. But then when you started talking about the cult and stuff, I was like, wait, I don't think this is the same thing. Well, is this the cult too? Is this the one that Allison Mack was involved in? That actor?
Ally Mack from Smallville.
Check this out.
Yeah, in fact, Kristen Crook from Smallville as well was in this cult for a while. Several of the actors
but Allison Mack actually got like charged.
Yeah,
right?
that's kind of what it's about. Yeah, it goes into kind of what happened there. And
I remember being so sad when I heard about that because I was like, not Chloe.
Yeah, no, I love Chloe. I was a huge Smallville fan. Yeah.
Oh, how can you not love Chloe? Chloe's Danae.
Also,
I've been told that many times, which is cool.
There's several actors from Battlestar Galactica that were involved in this cult as well. It's just I found it really interesting, and apparently there is another docuseries about this on Starz. Apparently there's a 4-episode one from a different perspective on Starz about this too.
Was that Jeremy mentioned that?
Yeah, Jeremy had mentioned that one. So it was very interesting to me, and if your mind works anything like mine did, you will enjoy is a weird word, but you will be engaged in watching it, interested in watching it. So yeah, I wanted to throw it out there. It's called The Vow, and there will be a season 2 because there's more of the story to tell. In fact, just 3 days ago, the cult leader in this was sentenced. So, and I don't know how that sentencing went. My wife said, "Hey, do you want to know what happened?" And I was like, is it weird that I kind of want to watch the show to find out? Like, is it weird not to be spoiled by real life?
I think that's interesting though, because there are like true crime miniseries and documentaries that have come out where my wife actually didn't like them because she already knew the story.
Yeah.
And I really
felt
did like
really
them.
strange saying that. I will tell you, I felt really strange being like, no, I want the show to tell me what really happened. I was like, wait a second, Aaron. Like, what is that? Because, I get it. I get spoilers with movies, but this is a real life thing that's happening. If you're interested in it, why don't you read the news article? And it's like, because I'm enjoying the show? I don't know. It's strange. I'm still kind of weirdly uncomfortable with my reaction to it, but yeah, it was one of those things. So anyhow, that's The Vow. It's on HBO. And that's going to wrap it up for Behind the Sins this week, guys. Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead and leave a comment or rating as well. If you've got anything you want to send us, mail it to P.O. Box 881, Republic, Missouri 65738. You can hang out with us on Twitter. We're at CinemaSins BTS. I am at Aaron Dicer. She is at Danae Says.
DENEESAYS.
And he is at Sam Loomis 13. So for Jonathan Watkins, Danae Hughes, Bram Stoker, and myself, we will see you next week.
Happy November!
Thanks for listening. Send any feedback to bts@cinemasins.com. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Find more ways to connect by visiting cinemasins.com/BTS.
Hello, Bagel. Nice to see you. It's been a long time. Just don't put that one in. It was embarrassing.
Okay, here's the situation. My parents were away on a week's vacation. I took the keys to the brand new Porsche. Would they mind? Well, of course not.
I don't know what you were just singing.
Jonathan, you know it?
It's Fresh Prince, right?
That's some Fresh Prince right there, man. That's parents just don't understand.
Cool.
So, and then you're trying to climb a waterfall. My wife and I did not drink on the way over there. We're like, we'll drink on the way back because we want to be able to climb the waterfall. Everybody else drank though. And like, I'm holding on to this girl who's no bigger than Danae and is just drunk off her ass.
Oh.
And so I'm basically taking on her weight because she can barely even like stand. That was not fun. But it was just like one of those things though where you're just like, I mean, the falls were beautiful and stuff. That was fun, but that part of it was kind of scary.
You mean the waterfalls, not the people falls. The falls were just so beautiful, like people careening. Check out these glasses.
Nice.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah.
These are like vintage.
You look like Margot Robbie in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Thanks. I don't know who that is, or I don't know that movie either, but thanks.
I'm just missing your bare feet in the forefront of the frame. That's all that's missing.
Okay, Quentin. I do know how to make a Quentin Tarantino joke, but only thanks to you guys.
Well, that was him directing that movie, so that made a lot of sense.
Look at that. I was accidentally accurate. Can I tell you guys what I was doing before recording today's show?
Sure.
Eating lunch?
I'm going to let you guess, and you will never, ever guess. I can even give you some hints, and you will never
Eating
guess.
Lunch,
no.
Cross-stitching.
Nope.
Bathing.
Also, I thought you said crotch stitching at first.
No, cross.
Whoa. I don't even know what that is, but no.
So you were playing Spider Solitaire?
No.
Damn.
I was wrapping Christmas presents.
Oh, good for you.
It's not even November yet, right? Like,
I've never done this.
Yeah, but I'm jealous.
Like, I don't even know this person that I am. I've never, ever done this. I'm always a last minute shopper or just, hey, you don't get a present this year. Congratulations. I love you.
Meanwhile, we're at the stage in our life where our youngest son had a birthday this week, and 2 days before his birthday, we're like, hey, what do you want? And he was like, oh, here's the link on Amazon. Okay, it'll be here Tuesday. Like, that's where we are in our life. So... Do you want to guess what Ethan wanted for his birthday?
Sure. Okay. Is it a game?
No.
Okay. Clothes.
Nope.
Oh. Shoes.
Nope. I would have counted those as
clothing.
clothes. Yes, I would have included those as clothing.
But also at the same time, you're very specific about your vocabulary, and so I thought maybe there's a chance that you.
No, I get it, but no, I would consider shoes clothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Are glasses clothing?
No.
No, I don't think so. I think they're more
like glasses?
No, it's not glasses.
Cologne.
Oh, interesting guess. No.
Okay. I'm thinking about things that would make him like show individuality because he's like growing up now.
Definitely does that.
Right. Oh, so this one does show individuality?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Is it like a gold chain or something? Is it jewelry?
No. Jewelry, I'm right on the fence as far as if that's clothing.
A watch? A ring?
No. Hold on. You misunderstood what I was saying. I'm on the fence as to whether jewelry is a piece of clothing.
I think it's an accessory.
I think it's an accessory. And glasses, I think, are an accessory. I think that's
so
where
too.
we're going with this.
I mean, to some of us, they're not like it's a necessity.
It's a necessary.
It's a necessary for some. I'm stumped.
Yeah, you are.
Is this so obvious?
No. I would think maybe if you found the category, you'd get closer.
The category isn't showing individuality. Is that the broad category? And he got it from Amazon. That's my other clue.
Mm-hmm.
This is something you can get on Amazon.
Yes.
So it's not like a savings account.
Correct.
This is so hard. I genuinely don't know. And I kind of want to ask for a
hint. Is this his youngest?
Yes, this is my youngest.
So how old is he?
Just turned 16.
So car?
No, he knows better.
From Amazon?
Yeah, from Amazon.
Oh, I forgot you said Amazon. You could probably order a car on Amazon.
You probably could.
Okay, I'm going to ask for some kind of
a
hint.
All right, you want a hint.
This is going to take too long.
You want a hint.
Yeah.
We're going to move into the category of music.
A guitar?
Very close.
I don't know your sons. I could never guess. A guitar? That is not what you sound like, by the way.
I know. No, I just like saying guitar. Is it a guitar?
No.
I probably made this worse.
But keytar was close. So,
Keytar was close.
Is it a synthesizer?
Nope.
Like an old school keyboard synthesizer?
Other direction. He was going in the right direction, going towards the guitar, but it's not a guitar.
Is it a harp?
Oh, a ukulele.
Specifically, it is a baritone ukulele. It is the biggest ukulele you can get for his giant self.
But it would be so hilarious if he got the small one. Let's just be honest.
Well, he did. The one he has right now is a soprano ukulele, which is the smallest version. There are 4 sizes, I learned, of ukuleles. The baritone is the largest. I should say 4 standard sizes. You can obviously do custom sizes, but there's soprano.
But the ukulele is like a little guitar, right?
It's a 4-string. It's a 4-string guitar. So you've got soprano, concert, something, and baritone, I think. And baritone is the biggest, and so he got one of those.
Yeah, the ukulele is like the one where people do like the wada wada wee.
Yes,
I can't do the.
Yes, exactly, Jonathan. The wada wada wee. Yes, that is exactly. That is. He was just hoping. He was like, Dad. In fact, he was like, Dad, hey, can I get a little wada wada wee for my birthday? And I was like, what are you even talking about? He's like,
Hawaiian
ukulele
terms.